Chapter 15 Naradiya Kirtan Paddhati Mr. Cholkar Sugarless Tea, Two Lizards. The readers may remember that mention was made in the 6th chapter regarding the Ramnavami festival in Shirdi, how the festival originated, and how in the earlier years there was great difficulty in getting a good Haridas for performing the Kirtan on that occasion, and how Baba permanently entrusted this function to Dasganu. Now in this chapter we shall describe in which Dasganu was performing the Kirtan. Naradiya Kirtan Paddhati. Generally, a Haridas while performing the Kirtan wears a gala and full dress. They put on a headdress, either a peta or a turban, a long flowing coat with a shirt inside, and uprani, that is a short dhotar on the shoulders, and the usual long dhotar from the waist below. Dressed in this fashion for some Kirtan in the Shirdi village, Dasganu once went to bow to Baba. Baba asked him, "Well, bridegroom, where are you going dressed so beautifully like this?" "For performing a Kirtan," was his reply. Then Baba said, "Why do you want all this paraphernalia, coat, uprani and peta, etc.? Do all that before me. Why wear them on the body?" Dasganu immediately took them off and placed them at Baba's feet. From that time, Dasganu never wore these things while performing the Kirtan. He was always bare from waist upwards, and a pair of chiplis were in his hand and a garland around his neck. This is not in consonance with the practice generally followed by the Haridas, but this is the best and the purest form. The sage Narada, from whom the Kirtan Paddhati originated, wore nothing on his trunk and head. He carried a veena in his hand and wandered from place to place, everywhere singing the glory of the Lord. Mr. Cholkar Sugarless Tea. Initially, Baba was known in Pune and Hemadnagar district, but Nanasaheb Chandorkar by his personal talks and by Dasganu by his splendid kirtan spread the fame of Baba in Bombay Presidency. In fact, it was Dasganu, may God bless him, who by his beautiful and inimitable kirtans made Baba available to so many people there. The audience who come here to hear the kirtan have different tastes. Some like the erudition of the Haridas, some is gesture, some is singing, some is wit and humor, some is preliminary dissertation on Vedanta, and some others is main stories and so on. But among them, there are very few who by hearing the Kirtan get faith and devotion or love for God or saints. The effect of hearing Dasganu's Kirtan on the mind of audience was however electric as it were. We give an instance here. Dasganu was once performing his Kirtan and singing the glory of Sai Baba in the Koperneshwar temple in Thana. One Mr. Cholkar, a poor man serving as a candidate in the civil courts in Thana, was amongst the audience. He heard Dasganu's Kirtan most attentively and was very much moved. He there and then mentally bowed and vowed to Baba, saying, "Baba, I am a poor man, unable to support my family. If by your grace I pass the departmental examination and get a permanent post, I shall go to Shirdi, fall at your feet and distribute sugar candy in your name." As good luck would have it, Mr. Cholkar did pass the exam and did get the permanent post, and now it remained for him to fulfill his vow. The sooner the better. Mr. Cholkar was a poor man with a large family to support, and he could not afford to pay for the expense of the Shirdi trip. As is well said, one can easily cross the Nahane Ghat in Thane district or even the Sayadri range, but it is very difficult for a poor man to cross Umbar Ghat, that is the threshold of his house. As Mr. Cholkar was anxious to fulfill his vow as early as possible, he resolved to economize, cut down his expenses, and save money. He determined not to use sugar in his diet and began to take his tea without it. After he was able to save some money in this way, he came to Shirdi, took Baba's darshan, fell at feet, offered a coconut, distributed with a clean conscience along with sugar candy as per his vow, and said to Baba that he was very much pleased with his dream and that his desires were fulfilled that day. Mr. Cholkar was in the masjid with his host Baba Sahib Jog. When the host and the guest both got up and were about to leave the masjid, Baba spoke to Jog as follows: "Give him cup of tea, fully saturated with sugar." Hearing the significant words, Mr. Cholkar was very much moved. He was wonderstruck, his eyes devoured with tears, and he fell at Baba's feet again. Mr. Jog was also curious about this direction regarding the tea cup to be given to the guest. Baba wanted by his words to create faith and devotion in Cholkar's mind. He hinted, as it were, that he got the sugar candy as per his vow and that he knew well that his secret determination not to use sugar in his diet. Baba meant to say, "If you spread your arms and devotion before me, I am immediately with you, day and night. Though I am here bodily, Still, I know what to do beyond the seven seas. Go wherever you will, over the wide world, I am with you. My adobe is in your heart, and I am within you. Always worship me, who is seated in the heart as well as in the hearts of all beings. Blessed and fortunate indeed is he who knows me thus. What a beautiful and important lesson was thus imparted by Baba to Mr. Cholkar. Two lizards. Now we close this chapter with the story of two little lizards. Once Baba was sitting in the masjid, a devotee sat in front of him when a lizard tickled. Out of curiosity, the devotee asked Baba whether the ticking of the lizards signified anything. Was it a good sign or a bad sign? Baba said that the lizard was overjoyed as a sister from Aurangabad was coming to see her. The devotee sat silent, not making out the meaning of Baba's words. Just then, a gentleman from Aurangabad came on a horseback to see Baba. He wanted to proceed further, but his horse wouldn't go, as it was hungry and wanted grants. He took out a bag from his shoulder to bring grants and dashed onto the ground to remove dirt. A lizard came out and, in the presence of all, climbed the wall. Baba asked the questioner devotees to mark her well. She at once went strutting to her sister. Both sisters met each other after a long time, kissed, embraced each other, whirled round and danced with love. Where is Shirdi and where is Aurangabad? How should the man on the horseback bring this from Aurangabad with the lizard, and how should Baba make the prophecy of the meeting of two sisters? All this is very wonderful and proves the omniscience, the all-knowing nature of Baba. Postscript. He who respectfully reads this chapter or studies it daily will get all miseries removed by the grace of Sadguru Sai. Hence, Bo to Sri Sai, peace be to all.